No, no, yeah, no, 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 yeah, no, no, yeah,
Welcome to the official 6th episode of the podcast with Squaw. This will be my 4th episode with Squaw, and joined with me is, Irish 2K.
Hey, what up, everybody?
And for the first time ever, my close friend, I guess I'm just going to call you Feeler, because that's how I know you.
That's okay. That's what I'm used to hearing out of your mouth.
All right, so Irish 2K and Feela, we are going to be discussing on tonight's episode, appropriately labeled Netflix and Chill, our Netflix original TV shows. So why don't we hit it off with Irish?
Absolutely. So I don't think you can talk about Netflix original programming and not bring up Orange is the New Black. Probably, I personally think one of the best shows as far as development, storytelling, and comedy aspects, but also the drama side. The only downside I can even mention about the show is that it just wrapped up its 4th season. The downside is like the each season that followed the first season got a little less entertaining. I will say this 4th season was probably my second favorite. The first season being the first, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you haven't watched it, it's a 4-season show so far about a woman who basically committed crimes or was associated with committed crimes and is now facing jail time. And the whole show is just about life in a women's prison, and also the individual storytelling for all the people in the prison. They didn't really start talking about the individual prisoners until the 3rd and 4th season, but that first season they focused a lot on the main character. But it's a good show overall. It's funny, and of course if you like lesbian sex scenes, that's chock full of them. And then my other show is F is for Family. This is an animated series. Bill Burr, hands down my favorite comedian, best comedian. He has spent 3 specials talking about how 85% of this country's population needs to be obliterated. You can't disagree with that, especially since we'd probably make it just off this show alone. No, F is for Family. It's like basically a family in Philadelphia back in, I would say, based on the show, it's probably the early 80s. And you kind of get to see, the job environment back then, how people acted, but also you get to see a real, true vision of what Bill Burr's comedy is. And it's only a few, I think it's like, I want to say 6 episodes. But they're
pretty short.
they're hilarious. It's an opening. It's first season of the show, so I imagine if they bring it back for season 2, which still it has been renewed, they just don't know when. I imagine probably December because that's when the last season came out. They're probably going to up the show season number probably up to like 13. But it's hilarious. It's worth your time. If you like vulgarity, plenty of that. But yeah, those are 2 shows that I personally that stand out to me as far as original Netflix programming.
That's cool.
I did not see F is for Family, but at 6 episodes, I think it'd be worth a try.
Yeah,
but I have plenty to say as Orange is the New Black, but I felt like Anthony was about to say something.
No, I was going to bring up Orange is the New Black too. What do you have to say about it?
I think I agree that not every episode is not every season is equal, but I think the story as a whole is still developing, and I'm not really ready to say that one season's worse than the other until I see the last season.
Oh yeah.
But
did you hear the news that they got renewed for 5, 6, and 7? seasons.
I'm not surprised. I think you were totally right when you said we can't talk about Netflix without bringing up Orange is the New Black. I mean, it's not the first original series by Netflix, but it definitely is the most popular, and it reached the largest audience, in my opinion. What are we? We are three adult men talking about women's prison.
Yeah.
I know there's an obvious reason why, and you brought it up. That's the lesbian sex scenes, but
Yeah,
there's
pretty
other
much.
things too. The character development. I mean, the characters are just so great. I love every character.
Oh,
I
it's
can
very
identify
well
with all
written.
these women. You know,
Oh, it's very well
it's
written.
awesome.
Can I just take a moment here and laugh to myself at the fact that whoever the hell was in Discord just spammed something that said www. So while Feeler was talking, some asshat just whatever. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I do agree that the first season really brought in the show as like, at first you're just like, all right, where's this going? What are we watching? Like,
I was just interested to see women in prison at that point.
well, and I still wonder after watching it, is that a realistic aspect of?
Oh, it's based off a
women's-
book.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
a book, like
the
a fiction
Piper-
or nonfiction?
Well, no, the
There are
Piper.
definitely points in the show when
Well,
I'm
Piper.
like, this is not.
Well, yeah, they
go ahead.
they dramatize a lot of what have
Yeah.
obviously to make
Yeah,
the
there's
show
certain
good.
things that just
Like the
couldn't
whole
really happen in
aspect
prison.
of the
Yeah.
the drug cartel people and stuff like that getting in and doing stuff. But the book itself is by Piper Kerman. That's the main character.
Oh yeah,
She's a real person, and she wrote the book, and then they made the show based on the book, and then obviously they make some artistic changes to make the show more interesting. But she's a part of the production team. But yeah, I mean it's a really interesting show. The first season you get more pulled into Piper's story, and then every season after that, I mean season 1 you fall in love with all the characters in the prison, and then
They
season
show
2
a little backstory on
exactly
on
like
the
a
main
very
characters, but
little.
they don't wrap it all up. Yeah.
I do like that it is a dramedy. That's, I would like to say, in a whole, that's my favorite genre, because most of the time, comedy's great at any moment because it's nice to laugh, but you always want like a sense of reality and like moral, or like there's a, what do you call it? Like some shows have at the end of each episode they kind of round out what they've learned in the episode and turn it into something real.
Yeah.
Whereas this show does more than that. It kind of keeps it real throughout the whole show,
And it
while
kicks-
staying on a level of humor that is like, it doesn't make it just a strict drama like say House of Cards, which is a very good show and started Netflix off, but you don't have to be in that mood to watch it. You can be in any mood and watch.
And I think that's why I still have not, and I'm ashamed to say this, I still have not started House of Cards, because it's just when I come home and I want to watch a show, I don't want something too serious. And Orange is the New Black, you're right. It was the best mixture between serious and not serious. It was
absolutely.
This is real, and I enjoy the realness of it, but at the same time, I have a feel-good feeling at the end of my day when I'm winding down.
It's a mixture though, and that's one thing I love about it, is not every episode ends with you feeling like, oh man, I love this show. Some of these episodes, they really tug at your fucking heartstrings, and it's like you really have to think about, do you care about these characters? Because it's the morality of it. It's like, these are women in prison. Some of these women have killed people.
Well, even at
but
some
you
point,
care about them, and it's the craziest thing, and
Yeah.
it makes you question, like, do you think certain crimes are
Like Red?
like you legit like legitimately have to consider, in a lot of people's cases, like Red is one of the most loved characters, but she's in prison for murdering someone. Like, she killed a person. And she's not.
And
the
she
only
was
one.
hiding bodies in
Yeah,
a freezer.
like-
You learn that later. Well, I'm going to stop talking because I don't want
No,
to
it's-
spoil it.
If
I
you haven't
did
seen
like-
it yet, shame on you. That's all I'm gonna say. Shame on you. You're a horrible person.
But we do want people to feel free to watch it and not judge. We don't want to put up their defenses. Like, everybody should watch this, even if you haven't gotten to it yet. Watch it.
If
So,
you're gonna
I
do a
do wanna-
staycation, get a Netflix, get a free month, and you'll thank us later.
I do
Yeah,
want
you'll
to say,
finish it in 3 days.
Yeah, no doubt.
I thought it was interesting that by season 4, well, this is how I felt. I didn't give a crap about Piper at all. Like she started
Yeah.
pissing me off at one
Yeah.
point. Like,
Oh,
She
absolutely.
faded into the background in
yeah,
season 3,
but that
I
was
think.
cool because then you got to learn about all the other stuff that was going on. So they weren't side characters; they're all main characters, which is
And
pretty
that's an aspect of shows that like that will really draw me in. If it stays on one character the whole time, I can really kind of get over the show pretty fast. Like I like to see many different stories, and that's why I think TV shows have developed into something better than movies at this point, is because
Oh, absolutely.
you have the option to just watch all these characters develop, and you can't do that in a movie. You're limited to like 2 hours.
Well, that's another thing that Netflix gives you the capability of that no other, no TV station, no subscription other than Netflix can do, maybe except Hulu, is like a movie, you can watch it all right now. Like you don't have to
Mhm.
wait. And that's, I think, a lot of
And I'm a
criticism
binge
stems
watcher.
from me too.
well.
And
That's also problematic because I'll go through the entire series of say Daredevil, which is what I'm going to talk about next.
In
But
2 days.
in like 2 days, yeah. But go
well,
on.
that's what I'm
finish.
saying. Like that's something that Netflix is unique for. Like Hulu,
Oh yeah.
yes, has it. They have their own original program. It doesn't even compare. But like Netflix is way better. But that's one of the things that you just kind of going off your point about movies was like the reason why people some like Batman vs Superman. I talked about it in the very first episode how people said like they rushed the storyline. It's like, well,
Yeah,
no,
You have
this
to.
don't have
isn't
time.
this isn't
They don't
a
have time.
this isn't a 13 episode season of a show. This is a an hour and 45-minute movie, or a little over 2 hours actually, where they're
Yep.
trying to tell one of the greatest comic book stories ever, and they have to do it in a 2 hour. They have a time span they have to fill, or fit in rather.
Yeah,
Where
this ain't Titanic.
And that's why I
Orange is the
think
New Black can spend a whole episode on
quality
one
writing
character.
is not quality writing in the future is not going to be when it's dramatized. It's not going to be put towards movies anymore. It's going to be put towards
Yep.
TV. And
All the big actors that you've seen on TV in the past, they're all coming to TV. I mean,
yeah.
not
And
just-
I mean, me personally, if TV was still at the point it was 10 years ago, where you had to wait to watch your favorite show, and you couldn't just like hold on a minute and wait till it comes on Netflix or something, then I wouldn't even be watching half these shows, because I'm sit down, I'm going to get this done with, and then I'm going to go. I mean, I do other things. I can't come home to be 5 o'clock. I got to watch this show. That's not my life.
Yeah.
we gotta keep moving. I think we're yeah. So Fila, you wanted to go last?
Yep.
All right. Well, first show I guess I will talk about.
Urban just wants to hear himself talk. Go.
Oh, come on, man! I'm trying.
Is this one of those parts that we edit?
Oh no. I mean, if he edits it, I won't.
Well, my two are Wet Hot American Summer. For what is it? First day at camp. Jesus, I
First
can't remember
day of camp, I believe.
There you go. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while since it came out, but I will say, since no one else chose it, I did really like that show, and the cast was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So remember how we were talking about earlier the voice of, well, he's basically in like everything.
Master Shake, yeah.
No, not the other guy I was talking about. I wish I could remember. You know what? Here, let me real quick. His name is H. John Benjamin.
Oh,
He-
Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
Yeah, Archer, all that. Yeah.
So he's in it. You got Bradley Cooper. I mean, there's everyone in it, and it's not. It is stupid funny, but it's the right kind of stupid funny. It's not so stupid that you're banging your head against the wall while you're watching it, wishing you never turned it on. It's like, oh my god, this is totally a throwback to
The movie.
like these movies that we watched as children. Well, that you and I and Feeler possibly.
Well, no, it
watched.
was literally a spin-off of the movie Wet Hot American Summer.
Really, I never saw that actually.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, first of all, we'll talk about that.
I didn't see it either,
You-
so
so
this
that's
is an educating moment.
yeah.
Yes.
That movie was, I think, 90s. Paul Rudd's in it. I mean, a lot of famous actors now.
So he was in that and this.
Yeah, this whole TV show was the spin-off of the movie. So now you've watched the show. Now you have to go back and watch the movie, and I bet everything that you kind of chuckled at, you're gonna be like, "Oh my
So
god, I get it now."
I couldn't get through the whole thing, honestly. And I think if I watched that movie, then I'd probably be able to watch the series and find it 10 times as funny.
I will ask you just to be just the right amount of intoxicated. That's all I'm gonna say. And
So,
you will appreciate it that much more.
so the other show I wanted to bring up real fast, which I hope someone has something to say about,
You
because
don't have to
I
bring it.
just
You don't have to bring it up fast. Just talk about it.
all right.
Because I'll talk about it, man. I've been
Daredevil.
waiting. Well, what did he say? What did he say?
Marvel's Daredevil.
Yeah.
So
The end feeler.
God.
Daredevil was, oh my god, that just
So
that
good.
was it for me. Like,
Oh, man.
finally, does like all these. I mean,
The best.
well, so
Version,
Marvel
yeah.
and DC are both killing it right now. Well, Marvel controls the movie industry.
Mm,
Then DC came out with all these different, shows like Arrow, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, Gotham, so on. Oh, Supergirl. But all of a sudden comes Daredevil on Netflix, and Netflix is allowed to do basically whatever the hell
whatever they want, and
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about that later in the show.
So the fact that that's true,
Yeah.
just made this so. They really took like the grit of, say, like think like the Dark Knight meets meets Fight Club. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I like
the way
that
you
comparison.
described it.
I like that
I
comparison.
love the fact that they and not only that, but they brought a realistic enough aspect to the show where you're like, wow, that's something that I could possibly believe could happen possibly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not like you're watching the old Batman movies and you're just like, wait, so Mr. Freeze is Arnold, and
There's a lot of
I
will say
saying
this about
old and then
Batman.
saying Arnold in,
Yeah,
in
you
the
can't-
Mr.
you
Freeze
can't-
you're talking about. That's not
don't-
very that.
That's not
fair.
fair to Batman.
Yeah.
Don't do that to Batman, man. Don't use Arnold's
you see the
character. We
point.
talked about that.
Yeah. That's why I brought it up, because we talked about that before and how cheesy it can be.
Well,
Where
like-
this is the opposite of cheesy. This was complete epic. I mean, it was just.
I'll say this:
Oh,
when they
wow.
announced that they were going to do this, I was very excited because right off the bat, there was no like they could do whatever they wanted and it would be the best show ever because the Daredevil it was going to be compared to set the bar so
Oh, God.
low
Oh,
that no
God.
one's even holding the bar. It's just on the floor. All they had to do was step over the bar and they made a better show. Like they picked the perfect guy to play Matt Murdock and Charlie Cox.
Yes.
Are
Like-
you saying that Ben Affleck was not a good blind man?
Absolutely not.
Time out.
Yes,
I'm going to
it's
say
awful.
the guys who directed that film made Ben Affleck look
There
like
you
a
go.
bad Daredevil because Ben Affleck is a fantastic actor and he just made Batman look fantastic. So I'm not going to say anything else. Charlie Cox, fantastic for Matt Murdock. He got the whole character down, the way he talked, his the cocky confidence.
I really liked his character.
And
Like,
you know it's something that they're steering away from that the movie just like, oh my God, the movie threw it down your throat was his vision. Or, I say that with quotes
his
because it's not
vision.
true vision. Where in the movie they showed like the sound wave thing. They like spent. I swear to God, I have to check it, but there's got to be like 30 minutes of footage of just sound waves, and then like the rain kiss scene.
Oh, God.
Why try and visualize what isn't visual?
That's the thing about the show that's another thing. It's like, and I complained
It
to my
is. See,
wife.
it is vision. That's
It
that's
did.
what I
They
also
showed
liked
it
about the
one
show.
time, and they even had the name of the episode is
City
World
on Fire.
Yeah, World on Fire,
World
and
on- yeah.
they show it for like 15 seconds, and they never show it again, not even in the second season.
Yep.
And it's
so
in a time of desperate.
yeah,
No,
well,
no, no. It just kind of shows you what
he's talking
he
to
sees.
Rosario Dawson, and they're just
Yep.
kind of communicating about it.
Another great actress.
And he just tells her like what it looks like for him, and then they show it just for 15 seconds, and then you never see it again. And the reason I hated it at first, I was so mad. I was like, I want to see this. It's like one of the greatest things about him. And then I was like, oh wait, they've given you the template of what it looks like. Now they're letting you imagine
Yes.
what it
And
looks
that's
like
better.
every episode
Yeah,
after. And
it's
like you're
better
right,
to
it's
imagine.
better
Yeah.
to just in your head be craving what that looks like, and in your head you're like, oh my God, I bet that looks so cool, and then you just keep watching
It's
and
the
watching.
same reason why reading a book sometimes is better than
Well, yeah,
watching
using your
it.
I do
Because
also want to say one more thing. Oh, go ahead. Finish.
no, it's okay. You can.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, we've
So
been talking over
honestly,
each
I
other.
didn't have a very good point. Continue.
Well, no, you're right. I mean, when you read a book, it's all up to you, and that's what makes a book good. Is because you're not told what it is. you get to see it for yourself and make it what you
Yeah.
want it to be, you know? So you're right in that sense. But also, the only other point I wanted to make before we, before you can talk about whatever you want to talk about Daredevil is what I also loved about Daredevil is, well, first of all, the second season was astonishing. Like, it was amazing. It was great. And it introduces one of my favorite.
What has to become a new show?
Well, no,
Continue.
Oh, it's
is
already.
going
It's
to be
already.
yeah, it's
They
already.
announced it. It's already going to be its own thing.
Dude, the Punisher, and not only, I mean, so I will
John
say that the
Bernthal.
movie The Punisher was actually pretty darn good.
Yeah.
But the way they got, what's his name? The guy who played Shane.
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal.
Fantastic actor.
I
He's
actually
basically
like
Shane,
his Punisher more than the movie. I like how he
absolutely.
portrayed it a lot more than the movie.
Tom.
He reminds me of actual like guys that I know who would develop that kind of personality after service.
Well, yeah, probably.
Well,
And
Tom
because-
Jane was a victim of, again, the movie limits.
the
You can
writing
only
and
do.
the time frame.
I agree.
You can only
I
do
mean,
so
they can't-
much.
Apples and oranges. Yeah.
And they have
That guy
to,
is
so
a
they
good
just hit
actor,
the
though.
main points. They hit the skull logo, they hit the black gear, they hit the guns, they hit the
They hit the
car,
minigun, dude.
Yeah. and then that's it. I mean, that's what they did with the movie, and then obviously.
Oh, you're talking about the movie.
Yeah,
sorry.
the movie. They really they summed up him and had to do it so fast that your head was spinning, and that while also telling the story, of this other character and of John Travolta's character, and how Punisher played him against himself and everything like that. But like, a lot of people were like, "Man, you left so much on the table with Punisher. You didn't touch this, you didn't touch this." It's like, Jesus Christ, they only had an hour and a half. Like they can't do
That's why-
everything.
That's why I used to go to the movies every Friday, and now it's like I don't even go to the movies. TV shows are where the quality stuff is now, because you can
absolutely.
actually see the story. It's not just about explosions and whatnot. You can actually there's development, there's story.
Yeah.
Well, the last movie I saw was Suicide Squad, and although it was good, whatever. But
I
What's the
haven't
number?
watched
Hey,
yet.
but hold
I-
on. What's the
spoilers.
number one complaint with that movie so far?
I would say
I haven't watched
the
it.
ending.
Well, no, that's not what I've heard. The most complaints I've heard consistently is the limit of Joker.
Yeah, but he'll be
And-
back.
Well, that's
Well,
just
here's
because
my-
everybody's all into Joker. They want to make him the main
Yeah.
character of everything.
But if you had 13
So-
episodes, you know what I mean? He could
So
be
Then you
back to
every,
could
the-
focus
every
in
one.
on
Back
the
to the
story.
topic.
Exactly.
Back
Good
to the
point.
topic. The one last reason that I really
He,
like
he brought it back to the topic just there.
Yeah, I
one
did,
last
sucker.
one last reason that I really thought Daredevil did such a good job is, since it was the first Marvel Netflix original and they wanted to do more, because it did so well. Not only did we get Jessica Jones, not only are we going to get the Punisher, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, but we're now going to get the Defenders, which is basically like Marvel's Avengers, but like way cooler. Like, because of what Netflix can do, I think it will be way cooler, and it's a TV show, which means they aren't limited to time and what we've been talking about. I think that's just incredible.
Well, here's going to be your main differences between Avengers, the movie, and the Defenders Netflix TV show. Obviously, right off the bat, the grit and the vulgar for Defenders is going to be on an all-time high, and
Which is
Avengers
awesome.
has Disney on their case, so they can't do much of anything in certain areas. But to be fair, those aren't characters that were known for vulgarity, so it kind of works for the Avengers. Thor wasn't around throwing around the F word, and Tony Stark, all those guys, they didn't do that. But Punisher, I mean, the dude's name is Punisher. I mean, like, I don't have to go any further. Like, Daredevil, his name is Devil. Iron Fist, it's like he's punching the crap out of somebody. Jessica Jones, I mean, if you haven't watched that show, I mean, they hit one of the most iconic moments in the comic book in the show. Please watch it.
I haven't.
And what's his face from Doctor Who's in it? So I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you gotta love that. I can't either. I said Doctor Who though, so that should at least get 5 people to watch it. No, go ahead, Felix.
I just want to say that watching Daredevil is what opened me up to watching The Flash and all these other shows that were comic book based TV series. At first I thought, oh, those are going to be shitty, low production. I don't want to watch them. But when I watched Daredevil, I was like, wow, this is so much better than any comic book movie that I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have to watch this, so I watched Flash. I I started Arrow. I honestly I didn't finish that. I started Jessica Jones as well. I'm definitely waiting on Punisher and more seasons of um,
Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yeah.
I'll say this, man. The way Netflix does shows, and the reason why I was so happy that our first TV show episode would be about Netflix shows was because they just raise the bar, man, and they don't have the limitations. And I was gonna save this for the end of the show, but I'll just bring it up now. Um, it just makes you think of all the shows that you love on other networks. That if
How
Netflix
much
was able
better?
to get their hands on it, would be 10 times better. I'm talking about The Walking
Oh,
Dead.
yeah.
I'm talking about you guys love Preacher. I'm sure Preacher would be even
Oh.
Preacher's like off the
It's pretty.
chain.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
could you imagine what Netflix would do with it? Like
Oh.
it. I mean, it wouldn't even be a show to be like. You wouldn't even be able to put that on TV if Netflix got their hands on it. But like, there's so many. There's so many. Netflix has done so much from going to they used to just be the Blockbuster substitute, and now they're the probably the greatest original programming forum. And the build up for the future, like 2017, is going to be phenomenal. Like there's so much coming out in 2017, it just you can't get your hands on it fast enough.
Yeah. So, Feeler, what were your two shows?
Um, First is another show that I think, and this is a little different because it's not an original Netflix series. It's something that they kind of picked up and uh, continued, and it's Arrested
Gotcha.
Development.
Great show.
Arrested Development, I feel like, is one of those shows that everybody needs to watch, and not everybody does watch it. But just a kind of a synopsis: you've got and this is going to scare some people. You've got a really rich family who is rich through corruption, and they get caught up, and that's
But
the
only
start of the
known
show.
by the father and mother.
Well, until the start of like the first.
Yeah.
And then it's them trying to rebuild when the father's in prison and the mother's an alcoholic, and these are spoiled children who they don't know how to live real life except for one son trying to hold them together.
Yeah.
And it's just
what they say in the intro.
yeah, that is what they say. See, I fell asleep to this for so many days that it's just built into my head. But I mean, the show is the characters are ridiculous, but they're still lovable and real in their own way. I mean, you can watch this dramatized version of one character, and you'll think of somebody in your own life, but don't tell them because there'll be an insult with every character. This is Michael Cera, like
That's
this
what
is
started him off, actually.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like this is what started him off, and this is the character he just can't seem to get away from. But it was a good character for him, honestly. And it's just packed full of really good actors and actresses. It's just
Well, I was gonna say like Jason Bateman.
Arnett, Jason Bateman.
yeah. I mean, I actually like him in that a lot more than
look at his time frame, like in his acting career time frame. Arrested Development came like he was already in some movies, but
Yeah.
it was like that show kicked off, and then he started getting like major.
Oh, he's one of my
major
favorite
films.
actors because of it. I mean,
Absolutely.
I feel like people avoid Arrested Development for the same reason people avoid Wes Anderson films, and it kind of seems at first glance that it only appeals to people, to privileged people. But when you watch it, like anyone can relate because they were a privileged family, but they're in a situation now where they're basically living like squatters. So
you're missing the best part of the show, which is not a second goes by in that show where one thing could not be connected to another, and it's all hilarious. Like the amount of reconnecting one point to it. You hear something obscure, all of a sudden 10 minutes later you're like, oh, that's hilarious. Like it's all so
and that's what makes good comedy.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like when a comedian waits until like 15 minutes later to bring up another joke, and the punchline it's like two punchlines in once, and that's what this show does time after time, every episode, multiple times. You're right. That's spot on.
You know what I'll
It's
say?
just-
I'll
it's-
say Arrested Development kind of laid the foundation for shows like Modern Family to exist, even though they were on separate networks.
No,
My-
you know that one of the writers
But-
on Arrested Development actually ended up on Family Guy.
Wow,
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
But
So,
I will
there you go.
say
And
that
that's where
Modern
those
Family
flashbacks
is
come from.
very entertaining, but it's just not. It doesn't
Well,
have
no,
the
no,
same
no. It's
quirky-
no. It doesn't
not as
compare on a
quirky
comedy
or
level.
as
Arrested Development
original
with its
as
own.
Arrested
Yeah.
Development.
No, I'm
so,
with you.
so the reason you get those side stories or the flashbacks, you know, like when Peter would say, "Well, that reminds me of the time when blah blah blah." And
Oh,
he would go
yes.
well, that's exactly what happens in Arrested Development.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
that
they
actually
got.
came from Arrested Development.
I believe that is how it all started.
I don't know about that one.
You should
'cause
look- you
Family
should look
Guy's
into
been
it,
around
'cause
for-
Family Guy's been around since like the late 90s.
Well, then maybe I have it backwards. Maybe
Or no,
the writer from
2000s,
Family
late
Guy-
2000s, early
maybe the writer
2000s.
from Family
Jesus.
Guy went to Arrested Development. Maybe
I don't know. We'd have to watch Family Guy from the beginning to see when those flashback things start happening. Because
oh,
you're
it
right,
started
they
from the
do
very
it.
They did
first
it- they did it
episode.
in the
very
first
first
episode,
episode.
yeah.
The
Okay,
Kool-Aid Man.
yeah.
The Kool-Aid Man. There you go.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah. But anyway, I could have had that backward. But I know that one writer is on both of those shows.
Hey man, well, either way, both shows are fantastic. But
Well,
Arrested
Family Guy was
Development.
good until season 4, but that's personal opinion.
Urban, I don't want to get into a verbal altercation with you, sir. So I'm just gonna,
Alright,
I'm just gonna
alright.
move past that comment.
Let's
Arrested Development.
yeah. What's your other
What
show?
was a good show. Everybody should watch Arrested Development, and I feel like they kind of wrapped it up, but they left it open on the last season. I would like to see more, but honestly, I would say that even if they wrapped it up completely, they could do 10 seasons, and I'd still be like, what's happening to old Michael Cera? Anyways, my second one, and I know I said I was going to do something else. It's actually Sense8, because no
cool.
one has talked about Sense8 yet. Have you guys all seen Sense8?
I want to
Almost
watch
done
it
with
so
it.
bad. I want to watch
Almost
it
done
so
Oh
bad.
God, you got to watch Sense8. So I said earlier, I don't know if this was before we actually started recording or not. I love shows where you get to watch multiple characters and you get to see multiple characters develop. Like we talked, Orange is the New Black, and how you get to see this backstories to all these people. Sense8, it's like that is what
Every
they were
character is the
writing
main
about.
character.
Yeah, so you're watching every character develop, and you're also watching as these characters' stories intertwine, and it's not intertwining in like in the standard way. And I'll leave that up to the first episode to explain to whoever's listening to me. But it's just what it sounds like. You have so many senses, and you've heard of the Sixth Sense, the movie. Well, Sense8 is a little different. It's like you have another what's the word I'm looking for? Another sense, and that's basically it's empathy, but it's very specific empathy, and it just sets up like some really interesting scenes. Like there's one scene when all the characters kind of have a physical moment together, even though they're on totally different sides of the planet, and the way that they depict that is just so awesome. I really don't want to go into too much because I feel like just watching the first couple episodes will.
Can I say one thing though about that? So I think I'm on like episode 5 or 6 or
How could
whatever.
you not finish it by now? Come on, man.
Because
Yeah, right?
here's my main problem with it. The only problem, because I do agree it's an amazing show. However, I feel like I don't know where they're going. Like, okay, I like what's going on,
Well, you're 5 episodes in.
but what's the and I'm still struggling to see like what is the ultimate antagonist? You know what I mean? Like other than this doctor guy who doesn't really come up much yet.
And I watched this show like probably a year ago, so I might be a little off. But my understanding of the show is that the world was the antagonist. That the world was forcing all these people apart and causing all this conflict, and that this Sense8, this doctor you speak of wanted this conflict for personal gain, and that this Sense8, this group, was going to come together in order to bring, in order to help everyone. They were going to make empathy, like if everybody developed this sense, then everybody would be able to understand each other in another way. So I think the end point, and I don't know because I'm one season in, and it's clearly going to be more than one season. Um, the end point is that developing this sense of empathy is going to change the world, and I don't know if it is supposed to be like good wins against evil or what. I don't know yet, but the first season left it open, and it was very interesting.
Well, from what I've seen, it looks like I mean, like you said, they basically these 8 strangers, they
Yeah,
become
totally not
they're kind
connected.
of living their own lives, and then obviously the death of this other person, kind of puts them all into this emotional and mental state of, being able to feel and communicate with with one another, and
Hmm.
kind of live each other's lives almost in the same time, and obviously I think
While
early
living
on you
their
have to
own lives, yeah.
explain the complications with it. It's like you're trying to live your own life, and then all of a sudden you're feeling and dealing with this other thing in your head. But then obviously it from the trailers that I've watched, it looks like it builds up to where something is after them, and they have to you know
I'm hoping they end up teaming
So
up.
coagulate.
so
You know,
I'm just remembering one scene right now when you're trying to describe living somebody's life while living your own life, and this is very interesting, and it might really give somebody an idea of what the show's about. There's one scene where there's a Mexican actor who
oh yeah, yeah, the gay. I mean,
and
the guy.
so
Yeah,
yeah, well, don't give too many
yeah,
clues,
yeah,
all right?
the
There's
guy.
a Mexican actor who has a scene where he is going to have to um, to fight like in his show or movie, whatever he's in,
Oh
and
yes.
he's got to fight these guys, but he's not really that good. And then he taps into the psyche of one or the other. I can't remember if it was somebody who was doing kung fu or somebody who was actually a gangster. I can't remember, but he ends up doing the scene so well because he doesn't necessarily lose control of his body, but somebody else is
Someone else helps him.
doing all the moving
Does it
parts.
for him. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they
badass.
make the choreography 10
So
times better than it would have been if that Mexican choreographer had designed the scene. And that's just
Well,
that's one of the opening things. Like that's when you're first developing these skills or whatever. When they're first developing these skills, that's what happens. So what happens actually later past that is even crazier, where somebody can have multiple helpers within their own mind while they're trying to complete a task for their own life.
well, Feeler, I was like 75% sure I was gonna watch it. So after hearing you explain it, I'm all in. I'm gonna start
And
it
I didn't even
tomorrow.
say anything. I just
No, no, your explanation of it, I never like thought of it from that perspective. I obviously you get the synopsis from the internet or whatever. But no, I'm being dead honest, man. Your description of that makes me want to watch that shit right now. But
I
I'll wait. I'll be patient. Um,
no,
I'll,
let's stop this right
yeah,
here. Well, let's
yeah,
yeah.
not
let me
talk
pause.
about
I
what
gotta
Podcast is
go
over. I'm
work,
gonna go watch
the
guys.
Sense
best
Eight.
I
thing
gotta go
that we
watch
need
the
to
show.
talk about.